But as the authorities had 3 suspects already in custody, with 2 of them directly charged for the bombing and continually looking for others, things were still heating up around the mosque and the legal residency to one of its controversial clerics.
A militant Muslim sheikh is now fighting to stay in Jersey City or anywhere in the United States. An immigration judge has ordered him deported. Meanwhile, 2 of the sheikh's followers are among those indicted today for the World Trade Center bombing.
The indictment charged the 25-year-old Mohammed Salameh and 25-year-old Nadal Ayad willfully damaged the World Trade Center with an explosive device, causing the death of 6 persons. A third man, Ibrahim Il-Ghabrani, was indicted on obstruction of justice and fraud. The mayor said these are charges against people, not a people. 2 of those indicted were followers of Sheikh Omar Abdel Rahman, who was ordered deported by a U.S. immigration judge. The Immigration Service said that Abdel Rahman, who lives in Jersey City, did not disclose that he is a polygamist and was convicted in Egypt of falsifying a check. Both are grounds for exclusion from the U.S. A lawyer for the sheikh says he will fight the order. He has 10 days to appeal. Abdul Rahman was once charged in Egypt in the death of President Anwar Sadat, but he has denounced the World Trade Center bombing. Here at the mosque in Jersey City, where the sheikh has preached in the past, worshippers wouldn't talk on camera. They said if the interviews were seen in Egypt, their families might be persecuted. But they said the sheikh is a good man who is innocent of any charges and does not preach violence.
And word tonight that a suspect in the World Trade Center bombing fled the country and may be in Pakistan. Several New Jersey papers reported today that 33-year-old Mahmoud Abu Halima, an Egyptian national with a German passport, left from Kennedy Airport 2 days after Salameh's arrest.
And on the following day, it would seem that the blind sheik was laying low by visiting Los Angeles and taking the opportunity to do interviews addressing accusations that he had something to do with the World Trade Center bombing.
The blind cleric, Sheikh Omar Abdel Rahman, says neither he, nor his mosque, nor his religion would tolerate terrorism.
This is a false accusation that these people who bombed the World Trade Center, they are my followers. These are false accusations.
The sheikh said he does not know either Nadal Ayad or Mohammed Salameh, the 2 men charged in the bombing, although anyone is welcome to worship with him.
They can pray in any mosque, but there is no any connection between me and them, and don't show me to all the world that I've been accused.
But this man, Mahmoud Abu Halima, now considered a suspect, is said to be close to the sheikh.
I don't know him and I don't know where he is.
Abu Halima is a cab driver who may have fled to Pakistan after the bombing. Reportedly, he was once the sheikh's personal driver.
I don't have a car, so that how come he drive a car that I don't have?
Sheikh Rahman said his religion, Islam, does not condone attacks on buildings or civilians.
Indeed, Allah, God, does not like those who transgress.
But he did have harsh words for the Mubarak government in Egypt, which he called corrupt and oppressive.
They control Egypt with fire and iron. And they control Egypt with a police state and force.
The United States is trying to kick the sheikh out of the country, but he says the land of God is very large.
Tens of nations will receive me.
Radical Muslim Sheikh Omar Abdel Rahman resurfaced today, leading a prayer session in Jersey City's Lincoln Park. The embattled cleric celebrating the end of the holy month of Ramadan with about 1,000 followers. Rahman preaches at a local mosque where all of the prime suspects in the World Trade Center bombing worshipped. He is not charged in the blast, but faces deportation on other charges.
While publicly 3 suspects were still being held in connection to the World Trade Center bombing, another Jordanian-born Palestinian appears in the circles.
The federal prison in Lower Manhattan is now holding 5 suspects connected with the World Trade Center bombing. The latest was brought into town in a heavily guarded caravan after he surrendered in Newark. 27-year-old Bilal Al-Qaisi pleaded not guilty in a late afternoon court appearance. Federal sources tell us they'd been looking for him for about a week. His lawyer claimed prosecutors failed to link Al-Qaisi to either the bombing or the other suspects in custody, but the FBI says differently. The feds say one of the other suspects in this case had Bilal Al-Qaisi's American Express credit card on him when he was arrested. The billing address on that credit card led them to a New Jersey apartment where a timing device was discovered linked to the Trade Center bomb. In addition, other witnesses in this case have told federal investigators they saw Al-Qaisi repeatedly at the Jersey City rental locker where the bomb's components were allegedly stored. Al-Qazi is most directly linked with the man in the glasses, Nidal Ayad, the chemical engineer who may have designed the bomb. Earlier in the day, Ayad, Mohammed Salameh, and Ibrahim El Gabrowni, an associate who was accused only of assaulting a federal officer during a search of his home, all entered their not guilty pleas. Ayad's lawyer says his client was swept into all this because he knew the first arrested suspect.
And on the same day that Bilal Al-Qazi turned himself in and was being arraigned, Mahmoud Abu Halina was captured in Egypt and was in the process of being expedited back. It was reported that Abu Halima also had an instructions manual on explosives when he fled the U.S.
But at this moment, there's no obviously unusual security activity here at Stewart Airport. Used to be a former air base a few years ago, but it is believed that the alleged ringleader for the World Trade Center bombing, 33-year-old Mahmoud Abu Halima, is en route airborne and headed here from Egypt. Abu Halima is an Egyptian native who authorities believe fled the United States on March 6, 2 days after Mohammed Salameh, the first suspect to be arrested, was picked up. Investigators believe Abu Halima went first to Johannesburg, South Africa, then to Egypt, where he was arrested, we're told, in a crackdown on Islamic fundamentalists.
Abu Halina was so brutally tortured through his interrogations by Egyptian authorities that he begged to be handed over to the U.S. authorities as soon as possible, knowing that he would be given humane treatment. When the feds interrogated Mahmoud, they brought to his attention that they even considered him being a suspect to Mustafa Shalabi's murder because red hairs were found on Shalabi's fingernails. Mahmoud also has a younger brother named Mohammed Abu Halima. His pictures are often confused with being Mahmoud, even in current publications and books.
Investigators now believe the man who rents this Woodbridge apartment, number 1811, was a ringleader in the World Trade Center bombing. He is 33-year-old Mahmoud Abu Halima. And yesterday they questioned his brother Mohammed, who lives upstairs in apartment 1812. I tried to question Mohammed as he left the apartment this morning, but he had no interest in talking. How do you feel about the fact that you're living next door to these people?
Can you imagine? I'm very scared.
Mahmoud Abu Halima was a former chauffeur and bodyguard for Sheikh Omar Abdel Rahman, the militant Muslim cleric who preached in Jersey City, New Jersey. The FBI searched Abu Halima's apartment for 10 hours Friday, but would not comment on what they found. Many neighbors told me they had been suspicious about the brothers. Are you surprised?
No, I'm not surprised. No.
How come?
Well, because he was very strange. His behavior was very strange and very odd.
There was surveillance around here for 2 days. There was surveillance in that, that they're looking after somebody.
Investigators believe Abu Halima fled the country a day or two after the first suspect in the bombing was arrested, although there have been some reported sightings at this apartment complex recently. Neighbors here at the apartment complex say the brothers look so much alike they could be twins. Therefore, no one is absolutely certain whether or not they have seen Mahmoud since the Trade Tower explosion. Although the FBI did interview Mohammed, no charges have been filed against him.
Other suspects in the circles of the Blind Sheikh and El Sayed Nosair claimed that the brother Mohammed Abu Halina attended a training session in Pennsylvania with Yusuf testing out his bomb.